Hello and welcome to my channel, Safety Off Gaming, where today we'll be running through the Bullfrog. The Bullfrog. It's an SMG within Warzone, which is, in my opinion, very underrated, and mainly due to the fact that its headshot multiplier is nice. It's nice. It's very nice. You can kill in the first 14 meters, with no additional attachment. The first 14 meters you can kill in 320 milliseconds. Just think about that. 320 milliseconds. That is crazy. That's faster than any other SMG that we got in the game. And I know it requires you to hit some headshots, but its chest shots is decent as well. Coupling the both of them, chest shot and headshot, and you're looking at a very good time to kill. So I want to take you through the best class setup that just helps push that first effective damage range as far as it can go, and try and help you and help other people see how good this gun is. So let me take you through the class setup. So first of all, we'll start off with the muzzle, and then the muzzle we're going to go with the GRU suppressor. Now if you're in Warzone, you're going to want to run a suppressor. You're not going to pick the sound suppressor because it's going to reduce your effective bullet range. So bullet range, it's going to reduce your effective damage range. If you go with the GRU suppressor, it's going to increase the effective damage range by 10%. It's actually going to help your vertical recoil as well by 10%. Now, I'm going to be saying a few stats here and there, and those stats are backed up by truegamedata.com. If you've ever been on that site before, it's the best site to go to see the true data that's displayed rather than what's displayed on your screen at the moment. The data that they display is completely wrong. So go with the GRU suppressor, trust me, brilliant and backed up by stats. I'm not saying just trust me. Then moving on to the barrel. The barrel you're going to want to go for is a task force, because again this is going to give you the best effective damage range possible for the Bullfrog. So it gives you an extra 50%, so it's pushing that out all the time to an extra 50%, and despite what it says, it does not have an impact to your vertical recoil control, does not have an effect to your max starting ammo. Not sure why that's even there. And horizontal recoil, nah. So none of those cons, and it has all of what it's saying pro-wise. You should say damage, you can argue damage range, get rid of the damage part. It's effective damage range, and that effective damage range, like I say, is 50% extra. The bullet velocity is also a boost of 80% to your bullet velocity. You do have some of the others barrels in here that do offer a little bit more bullet velocity. It would be a Liberator, and the Reinforced give you slightly more bullet velocity, but I think the Reinforced might give you 3% extra to your effective damage range, with the Liberator no effect to your damage range, so you're not increasing out that first section. So your bullets might get there a bit quicker, but when you're at the range you're dealing with an SMG, you don't need the bullet velocity to be ridiculous, unless you're pairing it with a sniper and you want to push it out and hit the shots a bit further. But again, the bullet velocity is not terrible on this. You're still getting 80% extra with the task force, so I wouldn't go anything other than the task force. Now, underbarrel, this grip, saying the name is difficult, the Spetsnaz grip, I think it's called. So the horizontal recoil is benefited, and the vertical recoil. So I believe it's 10% each, which is decent. The other one you can go for if you wanted to, but is the bruiser grip. Again, not melee quickness. No, it gives you 13% benefit to your vertical recoil, so it's going to reduce it by 13%. But you get two benefits with the Spetsnaz grip. So I would personally go with that, 10% for the horizontal bounce and 10% for the vertical recoil. Now the recoil on this gun is very slight. You don't notice it too much. It's very handleable. It's one of the more easier SMGs to use in terms of recoil. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I would personally go with that. Ammunition, you're gonna wanna if you're gonna want to increase the amount, it starts with 50. Now, I prefer the extra bullets slightly. I wouldn't go too far though. I don't see a need for 85 unless you're a sprayer and a brayer and you can't hit a shot to save your life. Go for the 85 if you really want to, but it's going to impact your ADS by quite a bit. I wouldn't go for the speed mag either. If you go for the speed mag with the 65 rounds, it's actually going to impact your ADS by a little bit, and the reload speed doesn't take too long on the Bullfrog, so keeping with the 65 rounds. Now the next one is you could go with either or on this one. I wouldn't go with an optic because the ranges you're using with this gun, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't deal with the range on the. I wouldn't deal with it going for long, medium range. So I don't see a need for an optic. So just not even bothering to look at that. So you can either go with a stock now or a laser. Now I've gone with the Crew 5mm laser sight. The reason why I've gone with that is because it gives you 65% benefit to your hip fire spread. I think it brings it to about 2.5 pixel spread, which is incredible. So, and the only con is an aim down sight speed, but the aim down sight speed affects it by only 8 milliseconds. 8 milliseconds. That's what, if you're running 60 frames a second, that's half a frame. Nah, it's hardly affecting it. So the benefit way outweighs the negatives on this one. So I personally think if you those close engagements, if someone's going to run up on you, you need to quickly fire. The aim down sight speed's good on this gun, but I think that having a benefit from the hip fire is pretty good. The other option you could go for is a stock, and the ones I'd recommend of the stock would be the tactical stock. I'd say the tactical stock because it improves your ADS movement speed. Now, ADS movement speed, I can't remember exactly how much. I think it was 16%. But basically what I'll do is I'll link you to the site where all this data can be obtained. But I think it's around about 14-16% or something for ADS movement speed on the tactical stock. A wire stock will give you some sprint to fire time, and that is truly reflected in there. The sprint to fire time is increased a little bit, not significantly, but it does help a little bit. If you go with the others, like the nose stock, the Spetsnaz PKM stock, and the skeleton stock, they're going to have an impact to your hip fire. So if you do want to hip fire, if you don't care about your hip fire, then maybe you can pick one of those options. But again, there's not too much benefit from them. You could, if you really wanted to, you could mix and match it a little bit. You could, if you didn't want the 65 rounds, if you're happy with 50, you could go with a laser and get something like the tactical stock. But I personally prefer having a little bit extra bullets, especially if you're in something like quads. It really does help. If you're running a gun with maybe an AR with less bullets as well, it's good to have. Anyway, that's kind of it for one sort of run through today. If anyone want to ask any questions, they can just leave a comment below, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. This was my first video on the channel. It's my first actual video on YouTube, to be honest. So I could do with some pointers if anyone. Criticize if you like. Anything that you liked about the video, let me know. But that's it for today. Thank you very much. Cheers.